honey, late at night, I'm sneaking in that living room. I'm in here watching channels I ain't supposed to be watching. I'm infatuated with these women. Like you said, my dad had Playboy subscription coming, so I would see him whenever he would be gone. I was sneaking in that basement. I had these books out. I was infatuated with these women and their bodies, and I just knew. I was like, something ain't right.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley, and I'm so happy you came by. The Queerly Blax Show aims to normalize the everyday existence of Black, LGBTQIA+ individuals through an interview-style series with regular folks like you and me. So every week, a new guest shares their story and unique perspective on their existence as an LGBTQIA+ individual. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you subscribe, download, set your reminders to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host, Ashley. I'm joined with a very, very special guest. Two guests. Y'all get two guests today. From Che and Cherice from on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourselves to the people.
Well, I am Cherice. And I'm Che. And that makes us Che and Cherice.
Yeah.
We are, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You got it.
I want to say we are content creators. We're YouTubers, Instagrammers, TikTokers, whatever you want to call it. We on there. We doing it.
And we have our Che and Cherice brand now for not just our followers, but for anyone who speak on positivity and just shedding good vibes in the community.
That's right.
Yeah, rocking that Che and Cherice.
Hey.
You know, it takes Che to plug it, right? Che always get into the money.
There you go.
Like, we got that clothing brand. We got them clothes. Y'all go get them clothes.
You know the vibes.
You already know. Don't. So look, man. So we're gonna jump right in, and I want to start with Cherice. I want to start with your coming out story. And Che, if you however much you feel comfortable with sharing. I know you ain't put your video out yet, but however much you feel comfortable with sharing. But Cherice, I want to talk about your story because it's hilarious, and I particularly like the level of detail. Talking about reading the Playboy magazines in your daddy basement. And
you know what? That's how I know you a true
listen.
That's how I know it.
Look, Cherice said, my dad had them Playboy magazines. I was like, oh, these women. If y'all want that full video, y'all want that full story, y'all gotta go check that video out on their channel, on their YouTube channel. Go back a little bit and watch that whole video.
My coming out story. Yeah. Okay. Well, my coming out for me before I came out to my family was when I was very, very young. I want to say around in the 5th grade, I knew that I was attracted to women. I didn't know anything about attraction and stuff like that, but I knew I had feelings and I was feeling some type of way when I would see the girls in my classes, when I would see women on the TV. I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35. So when I was in the 5th grade, it was pay-per-view back then on the cable box. And if you can get them, you can get people to unlock your box and you can get all them channels. Honey, late at night, I'm sneaking in that living room. I'm in here watching channels I ain't supposed to be watching. I'm infatuated with these women. Like you said, my dad had Playboy subscription coming, so I would see him whenever he would be gone. I was sneaking in that basement. I had these books out. I was infatuated with these women and their bodies, and I just knew. I was like, something ain't right.
You reliving it all over again.
I didn't know about being gay and stuff like that because it wasn't talked about. We never talked about that like in our family. That wasn't going around in the community, or nothing like that. So, but I knew that something was different. Okay. I started really expressing myself when I was in high school, because then of course it was the girls wearing the basketball shorts and the big t-shirts. So everybody like, oh, she gay. She gay. So I'm like, who is she? I want to be her friend. Okay. So I've always known. I don't want to say I was forced to come out, but I felt like I was forced to come out because I was at a bar with another lesbian, and she was a stud, and one of my mother's best friends came in and came up to me like, what you doing here? And I was like, oh, and who is your friend? And I was like, oh shit. Oh, excuse my language. I'm like, oh gosh. And so I was like, I got to hurry up and say something to my mama before her friend tell her, because I don't think this is going to be good. I never had that conversation with my family about, being gay and stuff like that. So I didn't know how she was going to respond. And it's crazy because I just happened to, we was in a car ride and I told her like, yeah, I was at a bar with my friend and I seen so-and-so and my friend is gay. And it kind of like had an awkward pause. And my mother was like, okay. And I was like, and I just wanted to tell you that's who I was with and that's where I was at. And so she was like, are you gay? And I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, okay. And we just kept talking about something else. Like it was totally normal. You know what I mean? Like nothing was wrong. Nothing was said. And that's how I came out.
Did she ever bring it up again? Did she ever,
No,
she never brought it up again?
Never. She never brought it up again. I would introduce her to women that was in my life and she just, hey baby, how you doing? Nice to meet you. She never said anything else about it again. And I had a great coming out story if that's what you want to say. It was very easy, very seamlessly. It was a nice transition. My dad, I was afraid to tell him because he a man and that's my father. And I'm like, oh God. So I took him out to breakfast. I called him up like, hey dad, you want to go to breakfast? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. So we went to breakfast and I was like, it's just something I have to tell you. He was like, you pregnant? Yeah, I know you're pregnant. And I'm like,
that's the first complete opposite. Yeah. Complete opposite.
Complete opposite. My grandma used to say, spit can't make babies. Okay. So
there you go.
There you go. Okay. Grandma always said that. Yeah. So I told him, I was like, I'm gay. And I just started crying. And he was like, what are you crying for? And I'm like, I just don't want you to be disappointed or mad at me or, resent me. And he was like, you are my firstborn child. I will always love you no matter who you like, what you like, the color, the sex, or anything. Like, I can't believe you didn't tell me this sooner. So it was very welcoming and loving. So that's that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's good.
She had an amazing coming out story.
Shay, what happened, Shay?
Man, this is actually the first time that I will tell my coming out story. This is just
exclusive.
It's the hoodie. It's the hoodie.
Because she always told me like, I won't make a video for YouTube. I'm not doing my coming out story, and I'm like, okay. Wow, look at you answer with that.
Hey, you know, for the people. It's for the people. It's a love letter for the people, man. We just try to help the people.
Because I feel like my story it's most popular in our community. It's the typical story, growing up, my dad was like, you're not supposed to be gay. That is, man not supposed to sleep with a man, woman not supposed to sleep with a woman. Because when we were little, we didn't know what gay was, you know what I mean? So he broke it down, was like, that's never supposed to happen. If you are gay, then I will disown you. I'm not going to have nothing to do with you. So me growing up, I was always a tomboy. And it was pretty obvious to my mom, but for him, it's like he either was in denial or he didn't want to believe it or whatever. So I didn't come out until I was probably 19, 20. And I told my mom first because I was actually in a relationship with a woman where she was just, she came through my house one time and just tore up everything. When I say tore up everything, she messed up everything in my house. And my mom was pissed. And she was like, you need to tell your father because you're in college, you have your own apartment, you have everything going for yourself, and he's going to have to replace all of that because I'm not doing it, And she was like, it's not because I don't want to, but it's because he can and he will do it. And I'm going to tell him that he's going to do it. And I think what she was trying to get at was he needs to support you no matter what is going on in your life, and she wanted to force that issue of you're going to support our daughter no matter what, not just me, So my mom, she said that she already knew. She said when I was growing up, she was like, it was not a surprise. I already knew and I support you. And that's okay. You don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to be, you don't have to hate yourself for it or anything, and just know that you can always come to me and talk to me about it. And she started schooling me on all kinds of things about women. And I was like, how you know, mama? You know what I mean?
Right. You got something you want to tell me?
Right. But my mom was like, she's a woman, she just knows, you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, okay. So I called my dad up and did not know that my mom had already had a conversation with him. And I told him,
so mom outed you before you could even say anything.
Yes.
Well, mom's had your back though, because she knew your dad couldn't handle that. She said, I got to give this man some time. That's a good parent. She said, I got to listen now. She don't know I'm telling you this.
Right.
Look at your face when she tell you. But I know you need some time.
Yes.
So she gonna come in here and tell you this. Act like you don't know.
Act like you
together. Have your face together. Probably still didn't have his face together, but
exactly. That's how it was. And I was already here I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, but I moved here to Texas to go to college. And I was already here in school. I was at U of H, and I called him. So he's back in St. Louis, but I called him over the phone, was like, I have something to tell you. He was like, what's up? And he's like, you need some more money for some books or something? I was like, nah, I got that taken care of, but I just want you to know that I like women. He was like, well, as friends, I mean, okay, that's pretty normal. And I was like, no, like, I'm a lesbian, you know what I mean? He was like, so you don't like men or anything? And I was like, no. So you mean to tell me that you like women and you sleep with women? And he just went in. And I was like, damn, like, he went in so bad. I was hurt. I wasn't crying or anything. I was hurt and I was angry. And I told I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, my mom wanted me to tell you in the first place. I didn't want to say anything to you because I knew this was going to happen. The last words he said to me is, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Don't call me for no money for school. When you have next semester come up, you need books, you need food, don't call me. Don't talk to me. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And he cut me off. Next thing I knew, he cut me off from the bank account. He cut me off for paying my bills in school, which was like, I think at the time, just a cell phone bill or something else. And in school, everything was cut off. So I was like, damn, so what I'm going to do? And I told my mom, I was like, I knew this was going to happen. That's why I didn't want to tell him. And she was like, you have to understand the reason why you needed to tell him is because, one, you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet as an adult. You know, and this is an opportunity for you to actually grind and make it on your own and understand that you don't need your dad. You know what I mean? And then 2, he's going to come back around. You know, he's your father. He's going to come back around. Just give him some time. He needs some time to think about it and process it and accept it. And she was like, don't worry about it. You always got me. And that's all it's going to be. So for years, I didn't speak to him. I didn't have nothing to do with him. I just lived my merry own life. And probably about 4 years after that, you know, my mom told him that, hey, look, you missed out on a lot of stuff in your child's life. And it's not fair for you to choose our other kids over, you know, one of our other, you know, children. So, you know, you need to make amends with her and all of that. He tried, you know, and we were cool for a year or so. And then after that, we just no longer had nothing to do with each other. So now we're here today.
Yeah.
So that's my story, man. It was rough.
You know what? I think that's why I'm so overprotective over her, because I knew how her story was and how her relationship was with her dad. So I'm quick to snap on anybody. When it has to do with her, I'm quick to snap, because I'm like, I feel like you didn't have that support like I had. So now I'm going to make sure you have that support. Yeah. I don't play about her.
Yeah. And it's not enough just to have your mom's support. You know, you do need your father's support at some point, you know, or to just even if he's not there, to just know that, you know, mentally, okay, I know he supports me. He may not be here, but I know that he loves me and supports me, you know. And I never had that, you know, with him. It was it was rough, but I will kid you not, I think that made me into the person I am today, because when I didn't have nothing, no job, no nothing, I'm just in school and that's all I had to rely on, I made sure I was good. You know, I hustled and I did what I had to do legally to get to the point.
Hey.
No, I had research and internships and all kind of stuff, but I made sure I did that, you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, for sure. My one episode, it's called Queer Politicians. I interviewed one of my friends from college, Victoria. She works in like politics now, and it exactly what happened to you is exactly what she advocates for. So like when kids like get cut off from their parents, and when they're in school and literally like have back balances and can't finish, and like just like over your sexuality, which is the craziest thing. But she advocates for people who are in those situations because it makes it so tough, because you're not a kid, but you still are from that perspective. Like your parents are supporting you through college, so you need their support still. So thank you so much for sharing your story. I think that definitely a lot of people obviously identify with that story, and so thank you for exclusively telling it here. We appreciate that. You can cut this clip out, put it on your YouTube channel.
Well, now that she done did this, I'm sure she gonna go ahead and she might do her story. I don't know.
I think it'll help a lot of people. It's you'd be surprised, man, like what people are experiencing, and lending ourselves as advocates for people to free themselves and know, like, look, it might happen, you're not alone, but here's how you can get through it, and even if the advice is, look, no matter what your mama say, don't tell your daddy. Like, even if that's the takeaway, right? Like, I don't care what your mama say, don't tell him until you graduate. Don't tell him, even if that's the takeaway. They be like, you know what? I'm gonna have to tell him when because I need this. I need my housing. I need school. I need books. I got to take care of myself. Then we could, so even if that's the takeaway. So thank you so much for sharing that story. So, man, that was good. I didn't expect you to tell me that, Che. So you, before you guys were together, like, how was dating for both of you guys?
For me, it was horrible. This is actually my third and last relationship that I've ever been in with a woman. Before then, I would just date around and mess around and stuff like that, and it was horrible. I didn't know my worth, so I would let people treat me any kind of way. I would deal with anything I needed to deal with because I just wanted to have my person. I wanted to be in a relationship so bad. I wanted you to love me and spend time with me, so I would just deal with anything. So it was horrible. Mm-hmm. Dating for me was horrible. Okay, mm-hmm. I can kid you not. This is the best, most supportive, positive relationship ever in freaking life. And it took me to be 33 years old to find that, but it came after all the drama and the BS.
And for me, dating for me was always complicated because for some reason I was a magnet for women that wanted the come up, is what they say, or they wanted the financial gain, and the not even like notoriety, because I was real low key, but they wanted that certain status in the community, not just our LGBT plus community, but the Black community, and they wanted that level of stature, but they didn't bring much to the table at all, or when they didn't bring anything to the table, they were not elevating. They did not want to elevate in life with me, right? So dating was complicated. And then also, I'm like really emotional sometimes, and a lot of women, they didn't match my love language, and it was just always imbalance for me, and it was rough. It was really rough, And when I finally said, okay, look, enough is enough, I'm like, I'm going to rely on the universe and to manifest what I actually want. That's when I decided to understand what I want mentally from a spouse, and not just physically. What do I want? What would be the total package for me in my life as we are here today? And that's when I literally started manifesting the woman of my, my dreams. And it was Cherice. And the craziest thing that I think happened is that I manifested her down to her physical features too. And it was just so crazy when I met her. It was like, damn, is this the vision that I actually had? It was crazy. It was crazy. Wow. So that was dating for me.
Yeah.
Wow. So with both of you guys having such horrible past relationships, right? How in the world did y'all get comfortable enough with each other to trust TikTok to bring y'all together and have a beautiful relationship? Because I think, like, I want to talk about the mindset before you guys got together, right? Because so many people kind of, after having bad relationships, they be like, man, forget that. I'm just gonna be single. I'm an independent woman. I'm dude. Like, you know, it's like this callous, this like guard that goes up and it almost never comes down. But you guys both just allowed yourself to say, okay, let's just go into this. Like, what was it about that process? I know you guys talk about what happened, like the DMs and the, you know, but from a mindset perspective, how did you guys set yourselves up to be open to that?
Well, for me, after my last breakup was in March of 2019. I was at my lowest of lows. I was very depressed. I stayed in the house. I didn't interact with my family, with my friends. I would always lie and say I had to work. I would never come around. I wouldn't really answer the phone. Hey, I'm busy. I'm at work. I got to call you later type stuff. Like I would come around here and there. You know, I was very, very low, very depressed. I hated myself. I hated that I had got myself in that situation once again. And I remember I texted my mom one day because I think my mom kind of had picked up on it. And she was like, hey, whenever you need to come home, just let me know. And I was like, that's random. Why would she say that? So one day I texted her and I was just like, Ma, is it okay? You know, remember when you said, is it okay? Is that okay if I ever come home? Is that still okay? And she immediately called me and she was like, you need to come home this weekend. I don't care what needs to happen. I'll let your stepfather know. And your dad, you need to come home this weekend because I know something is going wrong. And that's what I did. I was still at the time I had just signed a lease with my ex at the time, a week or two before she broke up with me. So I'm like, I'm stuck in this lease, what I'm going to do. So she was like, oh, well, we can just be friends. And, you know, we got a 2-bedroom. I'll have mine. You'll have yours. And I was just like, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. So I left and I went back home with my mom and my stepdad. And I struggled mentally. I put on a front outside. And so everybody thought that, oh, she's doing good. She's living her best life. She's having a great summer. She's doing this, she's doing that. And I struggled so bad, you know. Yeah. And so I broke up with her in March of 2019. I went back home in August of 2019. And then the new year came in. And on December 31st, I remember I was like, I made a promise to myself. I was like, I'm not going to be like this next year. I got to get myself together mentally. I shouldn't be like this. I know I'm a great person. I'm outgoing. I bring other people cheer and laughter and make them feel good. Like I need to do this for myself. And around February of 2020, February 1st, I got a piece of paper and I wrote down everything that I wanted in my next partner, everything that I wouldn't take, everything that I wanted, not physically, but mentally, spiritually, all of that stuff I wrote down. And I was like, I'm not going to accept anything less until I meet my person. Because before then I was like, I give up. I don't want to date anybody. Maybe I should date men. You know, I don't know. Maybe I should, you know, so I battled with that. And I was like, no, that's not working out for me.
Yeah, let's not go off the deep end now, Cherice.
That's right. Let's not go off the deep end. So I just worked on that list and I was just like, I have to be great for me. And by the time that I did meet Che, it was so crazy because it was so natural. I slid in them DMs. It was just natural. And everything is just, it skyrocketed from there. And that's how I knew. I was like, this is my person. I've never felt like this about myself or anyone else in my life until I met Che.
No.
Yeah.
Che?
For me, mentally before we met, it was challenging at the beginning of that year, you know. I was getting over a situation and at that point I just told myself, you know what, I got to focus on me. I got to think about me. I have to heal and I have to take time for me. I have to think about, you know, what's best for me right now. And then I'm going to think about, you know, how to move forward with dating and all of that. I wouldn't say it was a mental challenge or struggle. It was just a constant not thinking about it, you know, and I'm good with, when I cut you off, I cut you off. Mm-hmm. I don't backslide. I don't do anything. When I'm done, you know, and I can just turn it off. you know, but I'm still going to be hurting inside, and I'm still going to be thinking about, okay, what could I have done better? Like how, like, what is it about me that failed in that situation or relationship as well? So I took time to heal and correct things with myself, and just mentally process everything, and just understand that, look, I forgive myself for whatever happened in that relationship, but this is how I'm going to move forward, you know? And once I got past that thought process, then I was opening up to, okay, I'm not going to look for love. I'm not going to search for it. I'm just going to be here in the now and just live life, you know? And TikTok just so happened, I think that was in the middle of quarantine or sometime around August or something. And we have been quarantining here in Texas since like May or June or something like that. And I was just on there for fun. You know, I wasn't, you know, I was trying to do the little dances that everybody was doing. I can't dance. So I was like, you know, this is just entertainment. So I didn't go on there to look for love or to find somebody or to try to date someone. Like, no, it was not the case. But the craziest thing is that when I saw Cherice profile come up in I think you liked the video.
I liked the video.
Yeah, and when I saw your picture come up, it was 100 other more people, and my eyes just went straight to yours, and I was like, oh wow, okay. But I didn't have any, like, mentally, I wasn't like, oh, I'm about to, you know, start dating, or oh, I'm not going to date. Like, I didn't have any of that. I was just going with the flow, you know, just accepting what comes to me in life and what doesn't, you know. And when she slid in my DMs, I was like, oh, God must knew, because
it's on. Let's get it. Yeah, but like, how important is it? Like, what I want people to understand is like how important it is to do the work on yourself. Like, after you come out of those situations, to take that time with yourself to like analyze, even if it wasn't a situation where you were wrong, right? Like, but how it affected you, like how the impact on you can make you a different person for the next person that you're with, good or bad. But talk about like how and why it's so important to do work on yourself before you get into a new situation.
With me, I had to really sit myself down and reevaluate myself. I had to be like, okay, I'm not going to blame her. I'm not going to blame the ones before her. What is going on with me? So I had to really sit down and be like, okay, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. I had to really confront myself. I can't put all the blame on you. I got a lot of blame in this too, but it's because of me. Not because I cheated or anything like that. It's because of what's going on with me. So mentally, I had to wrap my finger around that to figure out, okay, what's going on? And why are you doing this? Why are you allowing this to happen? Is this something that we need to go back into our childhood or something like that to figure out what we need to work on? I did talk to a therapist. Y'all know we are really big on mental health, you know?
Yes.
To figure out like, why am I allowing this? Why am I acting this way? Why am I turning the other cheek? Like, what is really going on within me? And that's when I found out that I had a lot of insecurities. And just to have somebody around me, I'm going to do whatever it takes for you to love me. And that's not cool. That's not right. So that's what I really struggle with. And I really had to get over and get myself prepared mentally for the next person so that I can love her correctly and that I can demand to be loved correctly.
That's the key. That's a major key, to be able to demand it, because people don't have the confidence to even ask for what they know is right. They just accept whatever because they don't feel worthy of more. So that's key.
Yeah. And to add to that, I would say that self-love is the best love. If you don't love yourself, no one else will. You know, and you have to know what makes you happy, what doesn't, you know, what is it about yourself that you want to change and what you don't want to change, you know, because sometimes people could come in your life and want to change you completely when they're just not meant to be in your life, you know. So that's what I would say for that. You know, when it comes to your mindset, you have to work on your mindset. That has to be affirmations. It has to be mental growth and stimulation with reading or podcasts or just listening to things that are motivational and inspirational to you. What matters to you? You know, a key thing when I was in therapy, my therapist asked me, what makes you happy? Not something that you've done with someone else, but what do you like that makes you happy? try to find what those things are, and you will find more joy in your life, you know, and being able to be stable mentally is going to allow more doors and more avenues to open up for you, you know. Just like Dave said, we're big on mental health. Like that is, mental health awareness is key for us, you know, but we're more so wanting to have that positive and good vibes type of mental health. And that requires you to work on yourself, even after you're in a relationship, you know. We work on ourselves daily, you know, whatever it is, if it's big or small.
Yeah. No, for sure. I love that, because I'm huge. I think mental health and taking care of that is important. I go to therapy too, because I think even when there's nothing wrong, I think when I started going to a therapist, it was because there was just a lot of things happening, not all bad, but there was a lot going on. So like there's, you know, like family, there's like my job. It was you know, my job is great, but like it's really busy, and like, you know, all these different things, and you just realize how it kind of strains you a little bit. So you're like, I just want to make sure I'm proactively doing things to like manage my anxiety, and like when I feel myself like feeling a certain kind of way, I just want to make sure I'm understanding it. So I definitely think it's important, and I said it that way because I think people have such a stigma about what it means to go to therapy. And it's like, no, you can just go just to make sure you're good. Like people who are in shape go to the gym. They don't go, like they're already in shape, but they still go because that muscle, that means something, right? Exercising and exercising your brain and making sure you're good is a big deal, you know? So going back to your relationship. So Cherice, you've been in Houston since, what was it, October or September of 2020?
Yeah, October 2020.
So have we made that phone call to our family and say, hey, yeah, so I ain't coming back yet?
You know what? Like, I want to say, like,
that was not planned.
That was not planned. And that's what everybody's like, this is so unconventional. That was not freaking, who does that?
Right.
Who does that? We do.
Yeah, we do.
So like, I want to say maybe like almost a month me being here, because my mother would ask me every week, okay, so when you're playing, coming home, when you're playing, and I was just like, oh, I extended it. Funny thing is, I only brought a one-way ticket because I was like, I'll see how I feel when I get here.
I didn't even know that until you got here.
Yeah, I was like, I'll see how I get here, and I mean, how I feel, and then I'll go home based on that. So after about 3 weeks or almost a month being here, I just told them, I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for a job down here, and she was like, I kind of figured that.
After like month 2, I'm like, all right.
Because and she would always say, when do you want to tell your family you stand? And I was like, I'm not going to tell them. I don't know. Because before I came down here, I didn't tell them about Che until a week before I came. We had been dating for a whole month, but I wanted to keep that personal. I wanted to keep that sacred, and I just wanted to protect that. And I know how my mom, my family can be like, you don't even know this girl, y'all just met online. So I didn't want that. So a week before I came, I told them, and of course they was like, you don't even know this girl, blah blah blah, you want to see her? And I was like, yeah, I'll be back, I'm only going for a weekend. So I didn't have to think about them constantly saying that, so I never told them anything. But yeah, after about like a month, I had to be like, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay here. I like it here.
And Che, what's going through your mind as the weeks? I know you're happy, obviously, but like, what's going through your mind in terms of like, you know, she's 1 week after the next, like continuing to stay. Like, what's going through your mind?
We had already agreed on that the first weekend.
Yeah, we did. Because I was like, how do you feel about staying here?
Yeah,
and you was like, I want to. I mean, I want to do it. So for me, I kicked into, all right, how are we going to do it? All right, so what do you have back there that we need to take care of? And how do you make the transition here? Like, I just kicked into planning mode and how to make sure that everything was smooth. But I did ask, like, okay, how's your family going to think of, like, what are they going to think? You know, I don't want to feel like I'm taking you away from them, you know, but I want you to be happy with being here too. And that's when he was like, forget my family. Forget that.
I don't care.
At that point, yeah.
They living their life. I need to live my life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So with that transition, like, so then you stayed, And I know, Cherice, I know, like, just through like listening to you guys' videos, you're a very independent woman. You're very proud of that. And Shay's a very alpha female like me. I'm very much an alpha female, going to take care of it. Like, what's going on, what we got to do, let's just take care of business. So how did you, because I even remember, this is how much I used to watch the videos, when you got a job and then Shay told you not, Shay told you to quit. So how did you adjust to like a woman who was like, I want to take care of you, but you're still an independent woman? How did you balance those two? Because, you know, for the women that are independent women, right, but also want to be taken care of, how do you live into that?
I had never been taken care of, so I didn't know how that felt. I've always been independent. I've always had my own. So that I wanted to keep that. Now, when I came here, of course, I had savings. So I was like, all right, well, we'll see how it goes. So I think it was like about a month in. And I was like, I just think I should get a job, just because this is not normal to me. I'm not used to this. Shay is making sure, the first weekend I was there, she was like, I need you to give me all your bills, what you pay monthly, what's going on, so I can make sure that's taken care of. So I'm like, what? What? Oh, okay. So like around like after a month later, I was just like, I'm not used to this. So I'm gonna get a job. And she just kept saying, are you sure? Are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna find a job. And I found a job. It wasn't hard at all. And I worked 4 days. Mm-hmm. And Shay, literally, when I came home, she was like, I already emailed your job, and I emailed them your resignation letter. I'm like, what? She was like, yeah, I don't want you to work. That's not what I want you to do. And we had started YouTube by then, and she was like, I want you to focus on YouTube. And we knew that we were going to come out with our clothing brand, and she was like, I want you to focus on that. I'm taking care of everything. You don't have to worry about that. And it was hard for me in the beginning, especially, I think what made it harder was us being on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So people's comments and people's remarks like, you're using her, she's using you, and she's just here for this, and you taking care of everything. And that was harder for me. I don't think if we had put that out or we was on YouTube, it wouldn't have been that bad. But that was hard on me, and it took me a while to like get past that. And Shay really had to be like, look, this is my job. This is what I'm going to do. I'm taking care of my woman. That's that. You know what I mean? People wasn't seeing like, okay, we have other avenues of income coming in. We're working on a clothing brand. We got our YouTube income, you know, because we were monetized quickly. Yeah. Like people picked us up and they was like, we love it here. Mm-hmm. So that really helped our YouTube channel. But having that income coming in, I'm like, I'm just not doing nothing. So then I started feeling like, well, why do they think I'm using you? Do you feel like that? So I was doubting myself, especially being so independent. I didn't want her to feel like that. And she was like, stop it. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it's going to be. So I want to say maybe a few months into 2021, I was like, my woman got it. My woman taking care of it. My woman take care of me. I don't have to worry about nothing. I'm fine. I was comfortable with it then. But it was a struggle the first few months. It was really a struggle for me mentally.
It was that one video Shay did. She was like, let me tell y'all something. What y'all going to do is leave my woman alone.
We just talked about that.
I ain't going to address this again. Now y'all shut up in them comments.
That was
because y'all hurt her feelings, and I come with all y'all asses.
Yeah,
they wanted to smoke that one. I was like,
yeah, and that's what we just talked about that last week. I was like, nobody has ever. I feel like I was being bullied, and after that video, no one said anything about anything after that, and that was around Valentine's Day of 2021. Yeah. I was like, whoa, yeah, I'm pissed her off.
They did. I didn't play, but I wanted to speak on a few pieces in her story. Is first and foremost, I was like, who the hell am I to, excuse my language, but to put in her resignation letter, and she has not known me for years. Like, no, this was new. You know what I mean? I was like, well, this is a bold move, but I had to let her know, and I had to show her like, hey, look, we got it. Don't worry about anything. We're going to make it here. And we even sat down, I was like, okay, what's the plan? If we're going to go into business together, what is the plan? You know, because at that point, you know, me as with an entrepreneurial mind, I'm like, we're not just going to do things just to do it. Like, no, we're going to make sure we have some avenues of income that will make sure that you're happy first and foremost. And then, I'm good with it as well. So I wanted to make sure that I created a safe space and environment for her to just focus on that and to find her way with that. And for me to make sure like, hey, she actually enjoys this and this is okay, So at the beginning, I would agree that it was a challenge, especially with just being new in a relationship and being new on YouTube as well as content creators. That was new. That was a challenge for our relationship. But I feel like we excelled at every stepping stone and every point. And sometimes you do have to get people together,
Yeah, 100%.
Unfortunately. Yeah, you have to put out that message like, hey, look, this is what it is. This is how it's going to be. And this is how we're going to move forward. If you guys don't agree with it, you do not have to support us or be a part of our community. We're not here to spread hatred and negativity. That's not what we're going to do over here. So you guys can take those comments elsewhere,
That alpha female kicked in.
It did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
No, for sure. But you got to protect it. So then Che, for you, because that's, I think your role in terms of like gender roles, right, is more, there are a lot more of the masculine things, right? But I think one thing you talked about earlier is like that you're an emotional person. And so how do you balance being a woman? Like I'm a woman, right? And the parts of you that are very dominant and like trusting and knowing where to like push and pull with your vulnerability in terms of like balancing that and trusting like that they're not going to look at me as like soft, and not just like with your relationship, but like in general, like in your interactions with whether it's work, your family, your relationships. Talk about that.
So I feel like I just know when to be, I'm myself no matter what, but I know in certain situations where do I need to go? Like, what direction do I need to go in? I'm very observant and reserved to begin with. And I look at everything. I observe everything. I check people out. I check situations out, scenarios, everything. Like, I'm always a step ahead. If not 2, 3, I'm at least 5 steps ahead. I already processed things, thought about things, and just understanding, okay, where do I need to go? And I would say with family, friends, and anything outside of my relationship, I'm usually the alpha female no matter what, but at the same time, I can listen to other people. I can take other people's opinions and value that, I don't always have to be right or anything like that. I listen to people, I let them talk. However they feel, that's just how they feel, So I'm a pretty giving and push-pull type of person. When it comes to my relationship, Cherice is the one that balances me out, because I can be like over the top and Babe could be like, all right, bring it back down. This is how we're going to plan. I need you to execute on these particular items. And I'm like, okay, cool, I can go do it. Sometimes I need that direction, like to help with my mind, because I can go back and forth with a decision all day, every day, and it will take me too long to figure something out. And Babe is right here to help me with that, and which is crazy because in our relationship that happens to me, but in the corporate world at work or something like that, it doesn't happen. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I got to do. And, I can do it. I can make those decisions. Being in management, I can make those decisions. I know what to do and where to go, but that's more of a structured type of corporate world. Now we're talking about a free form type of relationship. And then our business on the other side of that, just being content creators, there's like a whole lot of creativity going on over there. So Babe really balances me out with that.
And I think that with you being in management in the corporate world, it's like you have, I don't want to say you have an ego or anything, but you're like, look, this is what it is. I'm the boss. This is how it's going to be done. This is this and that. And once you leave that environment and you come home, it's like that armor comes off and you're just like, you can be emotional. You can be everything that you need to be for you. Yeah. And I think it's a good balance. And I love that. I love that. Definitely.
Yeah. It hasn't always been that way.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah.
So, that brings me to my next point. I want to talk about communication. Okay. So, right. All right. Now look, y'all gotta promise me y'all gonna get along after this podcast now. But we're here to help the people.
Here to help the folks.
We're gonna talk about it. I want to talk about communication, right? Because I think we all know like relationships are hard by themselves, right? And then you guys obviously operate a business together, and then Che, you also work outside the home, so there's like a lot of different moving parts. What, if you can even remember, you don't have to give like all the details, but the first time that you guys disagreed and it was like, oh my God, how are we going to come back from this? Or like, how did you guys work through that? And then understanding, because then there was the added situation of Cherice, you're staying in Houston, right? And so it's a little bit of, I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm in this new space. You know, navigating all of those things. How did you work through it and figure out how to move forward, understanding each other's communication styles?
It's so crazy because like we've always said, everything about our love and everything is so unconventional. It doesn't happen. So when we say we've never been in an argument, I put my right hand up to you know who. We have never been in an argument about anything. I remember around the first month of me being here, I don't know what, I think it was around that time of the month for Che, and she was emotional about something, and we were talking about something. I don't even know what the conversation was about. And she got upset with me and she needed time. So she went in the room and laid down, closed the door. And I was like, oh no, she didn't. Oh, no. You will not go to bed mad at me. And that's what we always say, like, we won't go to bed mad at each other. And I immediately went in there and was like, we need to talk now. Like, I need to know how are you feeling? Why are you feeling this way? What did I do? What did I say to make you feel this way? Because we need to understand this and we need to talk. We are not going to have a relationship that we're walking away from each other. We're not communicating. We're not talking about it. We talk about everything under the sun. We are very open with each other. It's crazy. It is so crazy. We have disagreements when it comes to our business about what we're going to do business wise or what's happening here, But as far as our relationship outside of that, nope.
Yeah,
we do not. We talk about it immediately. Like, okay, so you feel like this. Okay, so tell me. So what's going on? And it's so healthy. Like people really do not believe how healthy our relationship is.
Our relationship is very similar. And I'm like you, I could talk about it right now. But my wife is not like that. I need a minute. And then she got to get her thoughts together and then come back and we could talk about it. But no, same. I mean, my parents, and this has been this way for 13 years. My parents used to argue all the time. And one of the very first things I told her was like, I'm not arguing.
Yeah.
Because I saw how unhealthy it is. It doesn't resolve anything. We literally don't get anywhere. I don't find out anything new about you. You don't find out anything new about me. We don't figure out a new way to communicate. We just have to talk, and we have to continue to talk until we figure it out. Like, we just gotta, because raising your voice, raising my voice, where are we gonna get with that? So no, I agree.
We're big on that hurt my feelings. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm sorry. What did I say? Well, you said this. I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. That's literally us. And it's like, oh God.
Because that's the root of it, right? Like if you break it down, it's like, I'm upset. What you said is what you said, but you hurt my feelings. That's really what this boils down to. And if you can just respect that you hurt someone's feelings, what you said doesn't matter really. No, it don't even matter. Yeah. What about you, Che?
So, but as an alpha female, it's like it hasn't always been a safe space for me to say, okay, look, you hurt my feelings. This is how I feel, and without someone snapping on you or getting upset and saying God knows what under the sun, right? So it's like being able, like once that happened, I knew right then and there where I was like, okay, she actually wants me to express how I feel, and it's okay for me to be able to express that to her. She's not going to judge me. She's not going to jump to a conclusion. She's going to hear me out, and I'm going to hear her out, and we're going to just talk about it, you know, and that really set the tone for our relationship to just talk about everything. It don't matter what it is, you know, whether it's good or bad, we're going to talk about how we feel, because that's the root of communication. How do you feel about something, or what's going on? What are your thoughts? What's your opinion? You know, everything that she expressed was like, we matter to one another, you know, and her communicating how she feel and me communicating how I feel matters, you know? And then to me, I think that's the root of every relationship is communication. You have to openly communicate. You cannot shut down. You cannot get it too far down into your feelings. You really got to bring it back out and just be someone that's going to listen and then also be able to express how you feel too. It's just really important.
And I learned that about myself when I took that time for myself that I had done in past relationships. I would make myself small so that they would be happy and I wouldn't upset them and I wouldn't hurt their feelings. So I would just accept anything and I would just be like, okay, it's my fault. I need to just shut up and I need to deal with it and figure it out. And I told Shay from the beginning, like, I'm not going to feel like my opinion doesn't matter, my feelings don't matter, or I need to make you feel better than me. Like, no, it's going to be equal. I was when we met, I was like, no, this is what I demand. This is how it's going to be, because I didn't want to go through that again. I was over that. I was past that. And I just didn't want that. So communication, that was number one on my list. I have to be able to talk to you and have that safe space and trust you.
Yeah, for sure. That's dope. So now let's talk about your platform. So YouTube, whose decision was it to get on YouTube, or did you guys have a conversation? Oh, Shay's, she's right.
It was fun.
That's so crazy because she's so quiet and reserved, and I'm like, YouTube.
I think once we got together in person and I saw how your personality was and how it meshed with mine, I was like, oh, look, everybody needs to be a fly on the wall in this house because shit really goes down, you know? Like, and it also was the fact that she's so hilarious. Like it don't matter what the situation is. She can make light of anything and make you feel good. You know what I mean? I was like, look, we need to share our journey together with people that look like us and that are just like us, because it was just so unconventional. And I really felt like, okay, I want to share this with the world. So I think I came to you as like, we should do YouTube.
Yeah, it was like the second weekend of us being together. She was like, we should do YouTube. And I was just like, okay. And she was like, okay, let's just start filming. I was like, okay.
And we never stopped.
Yeah, that's dope. No, Cherice, the other day, you were talking about the lady on 600 Pound Life. You was like, y'all, this lady just made 15 eggs. And I had just watched that episode. Oh my God.
You know what? That was life-changing for me.
Did you watch that episode?
No, I
the
saw
whole
the
episode
clip on TikTok. I saw the clip on TikTok.
Let me tell you something. That ain't even the worst of it. That lady. So my wife watches 600 Pound Life every week. I'm usually like working on something, or like I don't watch TV as much. We have our few shows we watch together, but she was like, "No, babe." She was like, "Watch that whole episode and then we'll talk about it." So I'm like, "Well, what happens? They just gonna go to doctor now? They not gonna lose the weight? She was like, "No. Watch that episode and then we'll talk." Yo, that lady. Listen to me. You got to watch that episode. Y'all got to watch that lady. Man, her name was Dolly. Dolly. You got to watch that episode.
Jesus.
It ain't even about the weight loss. She showed her ass on that show.
Okay, well, now we gotta watch that this weekend. We gotta watch it.
Man, she cut up so bad. At one point, Dr. Now told her, he was like, "Don't come back in here without your mother." He was like, he was like, she had went and found this homeless boyfriend or something, and they was living in like a motel. He was like, "Don't come back in here without your mother." He was like, "Don't come back because you don't do it." Yo, you gotta go watch that episode. It was crazy. Yo,
Dr. Now I'll get with you though. He don't care.
And you know what? That's here in Houston.
Yeah, it is,
dude. It's his I think it's cultural too, and because people done told him so many excuses. Them people come in there with everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Just stop eating the food, man. Just stop. Because he's not. They be like, yeah, I don't know what happened, Dr. Now.
And, and about that, like, so when I put that out there, so many people DM me and was like, "You are crazy. You are hilarious." And I'm like, this is just how this is me. Yeah. This is how I feel. Like, this is real. Y'all think I'm playing. This is really real. So yeah, that's how we knew YouTube was the avenue.
Yes. Yeah. No, y'all do a good job. I think y'all do a good job of balance balancing all of it, like in terms of just all different aspects. Like y'all are very, I would say y'all are very affectionate with one another. You're very open about communication, some of the challenges, more vulnerable topics. And I think it's good to show just like a healthy relationship. And even when you guys interact, right? Like you don't filter out things that might be like, you'd be like, Shay, what is you doing? And you call her Lauren. When you call her Lauren, that's hilarious.
You know, I'm not playing when I call her Lauren.
Or Shay, or Shay will be like, all right, it's cool, just chill. Like,
Right.
you just let it be what it is, right? Not trying to put any type of picture with it. So I think it's super cool. So then the clothing brand, like talk about the brand, what it is, what it represents, and kind of why you started it.
So our brand represents, first and foremost, premium quality. We stand by our items being premium, and then also just positivity and good vibes and spreading mental health awareness. That was the message behind our brand, along with the quotes that we say in our videos on the daily. Like as you know, our vlog is about us in the element at that time, and we filming it. We rarely cut anything out, because what you see is what you get. We're very transparent, very open, and we just are who we are, and we wanted to share a brand with the world that means so much to us. It represents us and who we are to the core, and that was pretty much the foundation behind the brand, along with, of course, people asking about merch and all that,
merch.
And I told Babe, I said, look, if we're going to come out with clothing, it's going to be a brand. We're going to brand the entire Che Cherice platform and experience, and we want to also allow the things that we do in our platform to be able to give back, and we've started a lot of those initiatives to give back to the community, whether it's mental health awareness foundations or if it's LGBT plus foundations. No matter what it is, it's us being able to give back to the community and being able to share something with the community that means so much to us. And then also, I was just tired of buying clothes and it not fitting and it being so cheap quality, and I paid, X, Y, and Z for it. I was tired of it. Like, I was really, really tired of it. And that was pretty much for me what was the backbone of our business.
And when she brought this to me, I was very big on, yes, I am a plus size woman. A lot of things I can't wear. A lot of things I could wear, but I'm not going to be comfortable. And people going to be like, girl, why you put that on? So I was big on advocating for the plus size community. Like, no, if we're going to do this, it's going to be premium. We're going to go up to the larger size. I think we go up to a 4X. This summer, we're going to be going up to 5X. It's like, no, I want you to feel good because we feel good. You know, I was very big on that. I was very big of, I'm not going to just have merch. I don't want people walking around with my name on a t-shirt. Like, that's weird to me. Kudos to people who do it, but that is really weird to me. And we was like, we're going to have to stand behind this. This is going to have to be something that we're proud of. Like, Che Cherice brand is our baby. And it's so crazy because in corporate America, everybody knows Shay's in corporate America, to see people at her job with our merchandise on, I'm like, how did they find this? How the hell did they find us on YouTube or our brand? Like, it's crazy.
And it's crazy because when I go to the office, sometimes I don't even know who's purchased anything. You know? So when I see them with our clothing on, I'm like, oh my God.
And
it feels amazing. And they always say, like, yo, this quality is amazing. Like, y'all went over the top with this. The brand is nice. It's amazing. And then someone was like, now I got to find some more sneakers to go with it. So I think also I want to touch on the inclusion part. We wanted to make sure we offer extra small or small all the way up to 4X and now 5X. We wanted to include everyone. And I feel like everyone has the right to look good and to feel good about themselves, and to wear clothing that speaks a positive message, and no, not just having Che Cherice on the clothing. Because I even said that too. I was like, well, why wouldn't we just have Che Cherice? And they was like, no, we're not doing it. If we're gonna do a brand, we're gonna go all the way with it. And we didn't look back ever since.
And another part for me was, usually when you're going and buying clothes and things like this, it's a set price from an extra small to an extra large. And then when you hit a 1X and 2X, the price goes up drastically. And I'm like, no, everybody's going to pay the same. Whatever the size 4X shirt is, the size extra large is going to be the same. And I was very firm on that with Shay. Like, nope, you've never dealt with it. I've dealt with it. And it's like a discrimination. And I'm like, we definitely won't have that. We will not have that.
And that's big because we pay our manufacturer more for those extra sizes, but we still charge the same across the board. So if you think about it from a business perspective and the numbers, our profit margins are smaller for those higher sizes as opposed to the smaller sizes. But at the same time, that doesn't matter to us. You know, we've always said, if you follow your passion, the money is going to follow it, you know, and we're going to stand by what we believe in, no matter what the dollar amount behind it is, you know, and that just goes to show that that's just who we are, you know, and it's real. We express that.
And you know what? It's so crazy because our followers, our family members, y'all know we don't like calling our followers. Our family members know that and they recognize that and they support us. And we have so many new people that's coming in supporting us. And I'm like, I never in a million years thought that our brand will be as big as it is now. And I just can't wait to see what the next few years hold for us.
And by just being 1 year, it's only been 1 year and our brand is doing very, very well. And that goes to show that we have a message and our message is getting out there, you know?
No, it's fly. I'm definitely a supporter. I have several hoodies, several shirts. I think I got the masculine woman shirt in every color. I think it's great because listen, and Shay, you probably know this. A good t-shirt is hard to find. Like a good quality t-shirt that fit, that's not like with the weird collar or the shirt is like too long. It's like, man, y'all doing a great thing with the brand. I'm a huge supporter. I love everything y'all doing. If y'all, when y'all get to the point y'all looking for some advocates to wear y'all clothes, listen, my address is just DM away. And hey,
your address is saved in Shopify. We got you.
There it is. But we have reached the end. And every guest I ask, what is some advice that you have for young people going through their own queer journey?
Ooh, for me, my advice would be to love yourself, because the world will turn their back on you. You have to love yourself. You have to be in love with yourself. You have to be true to who you are. No matter what, if that's who you are, that's who you are. You're going to make it. You're going to be okay. Things, it's going to get rough before it gets easier, but you just got to stick with it and you got to get through that rough patch, but it's going to be okay. You're going to make it.
Yeah. For me, I would say always be true to who you are. Don't ever feel like you have to change for someone else. It's okay to grow and to prosper in life, but remain true to who you are, no matter what happens to you, whether it's good things or bad things. When you be yourself and when it's authentic, it's going to transpire and manifest into the world, And I would also say self-love is the best love.
That's right.
100%. Awesome. Well, thank you, Che and Cherice, for coming on today's show. This is another episode of the Queerly Blax Show. I'm your host. I'll catch y'all on the next one.